I'm Lisanne Flynn. I'm a master healer who works with both animals and humans, individually and together, in reuniting body and soul within themselves. I also form a bridge for the relationship between earthlings so that the ripple effect of energetic shifts by each is deeply honored and valued. I'm an animal communicator, medium, and medical intuitive, and I use the tools of shamanic journeying and soul retrieval to support all earthlings in their recovery from past trauma. I'm certified as a Reiki Master Teacher and as a canine massage therapist. This is the Animals I View podcast. I was introduced to the use of a pendulum in 2008, and honestly, how I use them and when I use them has had a bit of a swing itself over the past 15 years. Currently, I have a pendulum in every room of my home, and when I'm out and about in public, I have a keychain that happens to be a miniature Eiffel Tower that my sons brought back to me from a trip abroad to Paris with their dad when they were younger that I use. Say if I'm in the grocery store and if I want to know what supplements and or other ingestible foods are in the highest and best good for my body at this point in time. And that's the magic phrase to use to start your conversation with your pendulum. This X, whatever X is in my highest and best good at this point in time. Because that says to energy / the universe, look at the energy of this object and tell me if it serves me in this moment. You'll notice that while that is a yes/no question as far as results go, it's not a should I take this supplement kind of question. Because being a good partner with energy dictates that putting a few really good parameters and really good identifiers in place communicates your intention in asking energy in the first place. It becomes a well-aimed arrow, I'm hearing, versus a blast from a shotgun aimed wildly in any direction. And as members of the Animals I View Academy will tell you, the universe can be a heck of an effective partner to work with via energy, and you are asked to bring your very best game, if you will, to the forefront. Because as pure as your intention can get, that's exactly how the energy will be returned to you in the form of guidance. And that in itself is where humans often get tripped up. We're expecting an answer, gosh darn it, and the universe says, hold my beer while I provide you with the guidance you can use as a member of a highly intelligent species with which to make your own choices. Because energy in the universe will not ever take those choices away from you because you're here to make them on your own. Some of you might think, oh, I'd love for someone else to make these perceived tough choices for me. Again, that's not why we're here. Because I have a hunch that just as soon as someone else makes a choice for you, there perhaps will be a bit of blame, justify, and defend going on our part, your part, as a species. Because we so value our individual awareness above any collective awareness, and gee, if I want to muck it up myself, I will do just that. Thank you very much. As witnessed, of course, by a rapidly approaching earthquake, tornado, tsunami type of shift by Earth herself due to our air quotes choices. And before I move on, let me add a caveat to the highest and best good. As an example, if I were to use my keychain and ask, should I take this new supplement? And I receive a yes as guidance, or perhaps think, oh, okay, I've got my answer. And then I go home, I take the supplement, and I end up having to go to the ER. I might be prone to blame the universe and or energy and even think, as I heard recently from a client, that the pendulum somehow lied. As the pendulum is connected to your bioelectric field, aka your body, that science believes every being has, and on this, my frenemy and I agree, not because I believe it as well, but because I felt it and experienced it. So I know that it's accurate for me. as a fixed design planet containing light and contrast to light, who partner with each other in balance within duality to achieve unity, the highest and best good can be interpreted by humans to be only something that we want. After all, the universe wants us to only have the highest and best good, right? Maybe it's in the definition of the word best right before good. Because what's in my highest and best good with the earlier example of the supplement might just be for me to be more judicious in my intake of supplements, research before I buy, and to not fall for the latest and the greatest. All in an effort, perhaps, hypothetically, to slow the steadily, my perception, increasing symptoms of MS after 30 years in this body that I chose in this lifetime. It could be that I need to be more compassionate with myself, work more closely with my neurologist, tell them what I'm doing. They're fairly lenient with me after all these years of working together. It could also be a matter of timing. Perhaps a supplement is meant for a later time or an earlier time when my body was more amenable to that particular substance. And so you can see how it can get a bit murky with this highest and best good thingy. All the more reason to state that up front and understand that when you embrace a not knowing, you will likely get more information than you need and clear information that you can, and most importantly, apply. Because we're big on our actions, right? We're big on moving forward because we forget to also stand still in the moment. The first pendulum that I referenced was actually a round metal washer with a hole in the middle of it, and it was suspended by a piece of thread. And yep, it was super low tech, and it was given as part of my canine massage certification course. I still have it with all of my original coursework and my case studies. And I think it's fun to look back at where we've been, right? From time to time. Both light and contrast to light will be present, and I do remember, this is pretty cool, I do remember seeing a photo of Wolf on the wall of this small classroom studio on the first day of the canine massage course. And as I had already been doing animal communication for a couple of years, I might have anticipated what happened next, and yet I was still really surprised by the message received in a clairaudient, meaning clear hearing way. So, you're finally here. Welcome. And as you might feel right now, the energy of Wolf was a bit impatient, wanted to let me know that they'd been waiting for me, and belatedly remembered the importance of pack relationships and social niceties, as it were. It remains one of my most favorite validations because it was so unexpected and reaffirming. The energy of the pendulum can feel like that if you allow it to work with you by providing it with all of the applicable information in a solid intention. Now, I'm not talking something wordy as in, okay, universe, it is in my highest and best good to go to the grocery store on 2nd Avenue first, and then go to the vitamin store on 4th, 2nd, and then to the bakery on 5th Street 3rd at this point in time. Then again, maybe that's a good test so that you'll experience how incredibly all-encompassing both the knowledge and the wisdom, those are two different things, you have at your disposal via a metal washer on a piece of thread can be. As I stated before, both of the statements, highest and best good, and at this point in time, allows the universe to locate the right building, if you will, in a city, and within that building, the right room of guidance based on your parameters, because that room will contain both light and contrast to light. You can certainly ask about all kinds of things, pretty much anything that belongs within the purview of human experience. You can ask about relationships. It's in my highest and best good at this point in time to go on a date with X. You can ask about career. It's in my highest and best good to make this job change at this point in time. You can ask about health. It is in my highest and best good at this point in time to take this supplement, etc. You and your experience are intimately known to the universe, and as we've talked about before, energy is either on or off, and it will not ever lie to you. So often we get impatient with our life path and the not knowing that we want the comfort of knowing everything will be all right. It feels like a warm hug. And it will be. It will be all right. It's just that any aspect of a thing about which you are not aware can seem like it's springing out at you, maybe attacking, and otherwise may cause you to mistrust the pendulum. And to that I say, with consistent use, the pendulum will feel like a destination, as your body as a whole will sense the energy move from the center of your body and down your arm. And in the beginning, it may help if you close your eyes after you make the HBG, highest and best good, and TPIT at this point in time statement, so that in this case, the watched pendulum will start to boil and move. So before you begin, sit or stand with your feet about hip distance apart, making sure your feet are on the floor, and bring your arms about shoulder width apart with elbows into your sides and parallel in front of you, hands facing each other. Take a couple of deep breaths and again, perhaps closing your eyes, move your palms slowly closer together in front of your body. Stop when your palms feel heat or tension. That's your own bioelectric field you're holding in between your hands, and you can visualize it, if it helps, as a little ball of energy. You can move it around if you want, and then move your palms away from each other. When you do that, you might feel a cooling sensation on your palms as they have less of this field compressed between them. This may take a couple of times before you get the hang of it, and don't worry, don't despair. Just repeat until eureka, you've got it. You're literally feeling this energy. Now, find your pendulum. You can go for one of the fancy schmancy ones, and remember, it's not about the crystal or the chain or anything other than you working with energy. Heck, I've had clients use their own necklace in a pinch. Anything like that will work. With your dominant hand, make a loose fist with the thumb resting on top of your forefinger, knuckles pointing out. The thumb will be the holder, if you will, of the pendulum, with the longer end hanging up and over the loose fist and knuckles. The shorter end will drape over the back of your fingers and just dangle there as it doesn't move. This should feel easy and light. I'll put a public domain image in the podcast notes so you can all see what it should look like. The reason for the draping over versus holding one end, like between thumb and forefinger, I think, is so that the energy can move freely and any minute movement of your arm itself isn't going to override, if you will, the actual energy. Or that you think you want a yes, and without awareness, your body and energy interpret that intention and give you what you ask for, which kind of defeats the purpose, right? So think loosely and feel loosely, so the better you'll be able to shift and flow with the energy when it arrives. And now you're ready to receive what is your body's yes movement and no movement, which will not ever vary. Because you are a being in fixed physical form with the above parameters in place, solid intention, HBG, and TPIT, the yes and the no will stay the same. It's the question that will change, which I kind of find reassuring in a way, because I know I can count on a solid yes or a solid no without guessing on my part, which is the whole point, really. So it gets you out of your head and down into the rest of your body. So say something that you know to be true while you're either sitting or standing and holding your pendulum, like you see in the picture. I am X years old and putting a number value on X. Close your eyes and after about 15 seconds, open them to see how the pendulum is moving. And you might already actually feel the pendulum move before you open your eyes and actually see it. It may be a slight or it may be a big swing. That doesn't matter right now. And most importantly, don't freak out. This is energy, everybody, your newish best friend. You are energy, and it's high time that you understand who and what you are. So after you say, I am X years old and that it's true and the pendulum has started to swing, notice if it's in a circle or not. That circle could be clockwise or counterclockwise. It could be a swing back and forth. Notice if that's left to right horizontally or vertically. And then it helps to make a statement. My yes is in a clockwise circle. All right? Ta-da! Now, let's get to the no. Say something that you know isn't true. My favorite is, I say, my name is Madonna, which is actually an inside joke from my first ever muscle testing. And yes, this is a bit of muscle testing-ish, and we'll get into muscle testing more in another podcast. Notice now with this untrue statement or a no answer, the direction and movement of the pendulum. It could be quite different from the yes, swing, or maybe just the direction has changed. And so, once you've got the no direction, say, my no is a horizontal swing, which just happens to be my no as the circle is my yes. Another ta-da and a rousing huzzah for working with a pendulum, maybe for your first time ever. The keys to the universe are now yours for the taking to use judiciously and with sober intent. Remember, it takes consistent use of the tool of the pendulum to begin to feel comfortable as you start to watch it, and better yet, start to feel it move perhaps even before your intention has been fully formed in your brain. Yep. I've definitely had that happen. And now to the even thornier issue of trusting the yes or the no. Here's the thing. No matter how many times you pose the statement question to the universe using the energy via pendulum, the answer will likely remain the same. Be very careful about your spelling, people, because if you alter even a word throughout the pendulum use, say, it's in my HBG to buy rather than take this supplement at this point in time, you will get exactly what you put in. And then when you end up taking the supplement immediately upon getting home and end up in the ER a few hours later, you might not realize what changed. You asked about buying it versus taking it, and to energy, that's everything in one word. Sure, you may try to justify or defend. Well, of course I was going to take it. What difference did it make if I only asked about buying? That's inferred, isn't it? And nope, just a one-word answer back from the universe itself. Remember, this isn't about mind reading. This isn't about magic per se. It isn't about shaking a magic 8-ball. This is truly having a one-on-one conversation with energy using the tools, plural, of your body and an extension of that body, the pendulum. Because after all, your body doesn't lie to you either. It's just that we sometimes don't like what it has to say. The more you tune into the energy that is you and have fun with maybe starting with a less serious question first, like, it's in my highest and best good to have ice cream for dessert, you'll begin to appreciate how constant you are as your own source of energy that communes at will, and that last part is so key, with the universe at large, who really does only want your highest and best good always. And at least that's how the animals see it. Thanks for listening today. Leave a review if you'd like, and be sure to subscribe to this podcast. I'm now posting the episodes of the podcast in their entirety on YouTube, complete with closed captions. There's a link in my podcast footer to my YouTube channel, so be sure and check that out. I offer all new clients a free 15-minute consultation. Reach out if you think I can be of service, and to schedule online via www.lizanneflynn.com. Come and find me on social media, Facebook, Twitterverse, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I encourage you to sign up for my quarterly newsletter on my website, where I also post notices for upcoming events, the starting date of courses in the Animals I View Academy, and online psychic fairs. There will also be a link in my podcast footer about the Buzzsprout subscription service that's now available. I'm starting out with recurring support I'm going to gauge the interest for premium content, aka Zoom interactive events, and we'll go from there. Sign up to give recurring support today. It starts out as little as $3 per month, and you can find the link to support this podcast in the podcast footer. The animals and I thank you in advance. Tune in 2 weeks' time where the next message from our animal ambassador, B, awaits. This has been the Animals Eye View podcast. I'll see you next time. Thank you.